This is not an easy video to make, but the whole point of doing this channel is sharing my farm journey, and this is part of that journey. An awful, unfortunate part, but it is what it is. So I mentioned in another video recently how I test my sheep every other year for the big 3 sheep diseases: Yone, CL, and Mealy Visna. My sheep have always come back negative for all 3. Always, until now. I tested the girls, and Dobby came back positive for Mealy Visna. According to the vet, if I let her lamb, I will need to pull the lambs immediately, definitely before they can nurse, ideally even before she can lick them off, to prevent them from getting Mealy Visna too. So Lamb Watch will have a much higher stress level than usual this year, since the virus is mainly transmitted through milk and mucus. For those of you who don't have any idea what Mealy Visna is, it's a currently incurable wasting disease that causes problems with body condition, lung function, milk production, joints, and will eventually lead to the grave. The only decision I get to make is how she gets there and what to do with the other 2 members of my flock. So Foxy is currently negative for the virus, but according to the vet, it can take up to a year from exposure to show up in a positive blood test. So there's a very good chance she'll become positive in the next year. I haven't tested Dingo yet, but he's in the same boat as Foxy. Even if he comes back negative, he would still be at a high risk for becoming positive. So the options for my flock aren't great, to be honest. I can keep Foxy, test Dingo, and find out for sure his health status, choose his fate based on that, and gamble that Foxy is resistant and won't get it. Though with Dobby soon gone and Dingo's fate in the air, it's an iffy plan at best. Especially since she could also potentially infect any lambs or sheep I have or get in the future if or when she does become positive. Besides that, she's 7 and was already supposed to retire last year, so keeping her won't do my farm any good in the long run, I'm sorry to say. Not when the potential risk to any future flock is so high. So, here I was, so miserably sad that I had to rehome the majority of my flock last year due to family issues, and now this. At least I don't have to test and cull them too, so in a way I'm glad, at least relieved, that they left when they did, even though I do definitely miss them. So, how did my flock get infected in the first place when I test regularly and haven't had any diseases show up in the 7 years I've been raising sheep? Chances are it was that stray goat that showed up here at the end of last year. She had introduced herself to my sheep before I even knew she was around, so by the time I discovered her, it was probably already too late. It was her being here that made me test the girls before lambing rather than waiting until summer like I usually do. Then I can get fecals done while the vet is here rather than having to collect and take them in like I do the other times it's necessary. But I just didn't trust that goat, man, and now I know why. So, going forward now, knowing the very unfortunate future for my current flock, the plan is to pull all Dobby and Foxy ewe lambs I may get. I'll bottle raise them with strict biosecurity measures, and they can be the start of my future flock. Dingo will head off to freezer camp, and Foxy and Dobby will stay until any ram lambs they may have are raised. Then they will sadly have to be shipped off to freezer camp as well. The one good thing about Mealy Visna is that the virus doesn't last long on surfaces and isn't zoonotic, so the other animals and us humans aren't going to be affected by it. I do plan to milk Dobby or Foxy or both, so it's good to know the milk is safe for us, though I will be pasteurizing to be extra cautious. So now we wait for lambing and see what we'll have to work with going forward. I'm not giving up, not at all. I am devastated, but not defeated. One thing you learn with farming is that if you want to have one, you need to have a decent amount of perseverance. I'm angry at the goat for infecting my flock and at her irresponsible owner for not testing or keeping her contained, but I'm going to be responsible myself now and remove the risk from and for my future flock. And there will be a future flock one way or the other. All that said, if anyone wants to unsubscribe from the grief of these losses, I won't blame you one bit. This isn't at all what I expected to be sharing this spring. Obviously, life isn't all sunshine and roses, but I've had very, very few losses in the 7 years I've had sheep, and I certainly wasn't expecting to be facing this when I do so much to keep them safe and biosecure. Lambing is coming up soon. Hopefully we'll get some lovely little ewe lambs that can carry on the legacy of my original flock members. We'll see, but I'm hopeful. And if not, then I will be looking into what flock I want to have in the future. I haven't decided yet if I want to go for Jacobs, Shetlands, or Finn. I think those are my top 3 choices, but we'll see what we get and we'll go from there.